this is not a criticism, it's an observation. And this is for both of you, that's your, the products are either masculine or neutral. And when they're feminine, they, in your case, they become pink or orange. Or that's how it's, how they're marketed to women, as I can see, or certainly young women. How do you think that issue of gender translated or expressed through the product?
First of all, we have to admit we are mostly guys in the design team, and we're actually, we admit that we're not very good at making female products, although we have now, as we've grown the company, we have many more female creative people, but also operational people in our company, and we're slowly starting to learn what the needs are for a woman consumer. I think up until now we try to be as neutral, as you say, as possible. For us, it's more important to have the functionality in the foreground and less the gender. So, and I think little by little we're making strides and we're making improvements, and I think we're getting to a place where we can actually maybe launch a women's line. So,
but to your point, our channels come to us, our customers come to us, and they say, like for example, if you take Target, 60–70% of their customers are clients, or their are women. Apple the same, or a little less, but Best Buy is mostly male. But if you sell through two different environments, you will learn that you have to open your assortment and design specifically for different needs. You know, even kids, I mean, we don't do anything for kids.
Yeah. I mean, you essentially have a gender neutral product.
Yes.
But it carries sort of gender identity.
yes.
But there's, I'm glad you said that there's an opportunity out there, and we learned that not only by creating gender neutral products and then making one magenta and the other one black, and that solves the problem, we need to think harder about that.
But if you think about it, if you look at Apple products, they're also very neutral, and they appeal to a really wide variety of genders and ages.
It's not an easy question to I mean, it's not about handbags versus backpacks, and I don't know the answer to it.
But there is, for example, it's the question of a shoulder bag versus a tote. We don't have totes, or we're making totes now. So functionality. Lots, like we have shoulder bags that have this wide shoulder straps, you know, and it's just a man thing. We like wider shoulder straps. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, I'm curious how have the co-founders' roles changed over the years? I mean, what takes up most of your time today? Do you do any designing, any sketching?
I'm right in there with the design team. Both Marcus and I lead the design team. Marcus is a little bit more hands-on with the designers, and I focus on new categories, new projects. I'm also involved at the board level, so I get to see pretty much everything from the idea, the strategy, down to the execution level, even finance and operations and things like that. That as a designer, you don't often get to see that other side. And having been there from the very beginning, I was very fortunate to get a taste and understanding of what it is that needs to be done.
Before you launched your audio line, did you have to make a business case for it? And was the whole Beats by Dre and what they've done the past couple of years kind of inspiration? Because they kind of came out of nowhere, and now I think they own the market with a certain demographic. I just went to the AIGA conference in Phoenix and saw a presentation on it. It's pretty amazing to see what they've done in a short
It's
time.
not only beats, it's III, urban gears, they have many of those.
Skull candy.
Skull
There's a
candy.
huge wave of lifestyle brands that are moving into the headphone space, and we're very aware of that. And Beats is a great example. They have a really interesting focus in aligning themselves with really famous artists and
And going after a certain demographic.
going after a certain demographic, which we consciously did not want to do. We always wanted to work with musicians and wanted to work with other music experts, and which we did. But in the end, we didn't want to be tied to a certain artist. We were much more, or music style, we were much more focused on being pure and hopefully appealing to a wider audience.
It's extreme, I think we came at the right time, but because our product is selling pretty well, but it could have been maybe a little earlier. But if you launch such a category, there's so much unknown behind this. We don't have any experience with sound engineering. We had to find all these experts in all fields, all the engineers, the ergonomics. We had to all figure this out by ourselves with specialists from all over the place to get there, and it was a huge investment in our company.
Like you said, there was a big business case actually before we said, okay, yay, let's go for it. We had to figure out how big the market is, what are all the players, and kind of, wait, do we have a chance in going for it? And what we did is we created the designs, we moved forward, we showed early prototypes to our different vendors, just to get their buy-in. That's how we do it. We need to get buy-in from our different clients and make sure what we're doing is actually relevant. And we were really lucky that Apple was one of the first guys who said, please do. Like there's an open market, and we trust you. We trust in your quality. We trust in your execution. At your ability to design a great product and deliver a great experience. And we have to say, I think we're really proud that we could actually deliver on that. It was a very gray area in the very beginning. We did not know where we're going in the beginning, and it took us a long time to actually figure out exactly what it is that we wanted to do.
How did you get into Barney's and Colette?
Barney's, I think we got into Barney's maybe 3 years ago. We were already in obviously in the Apple stores and different boutiques.
Did they contact you, or?
They contacted us, and but we also are working with a rep firm that's very close to us that had some relationships with them. And what's interesting about Barney, it was at a time where the economy wasn't doing so great, and they took actually the same, almost similar products that we had in the Apple stores, and they were doing really well with that, since people could not afford a $300 or $400 bag. They were okay with getting a high designed product for maybe $100 or $150. Any other questions?
I have a question, Joe.
Yes.
So you guys had this 14 years of success, which consistently been growing. How do you guys sustain that for the next 10 years?
I think we believe that design is a really strong part, thanks to Art Center and various other experience that we had along the way, but I think with having strong principles, like Marcus explained, enables us to stay ahead of the curve, to be innovative. I think most importantly though is really thinking about the user always and thinking about what the real needs are. And if you hold true to that, there will always be people that will respond to your product in a very positive way. So we don't have any doubts that this will change.
There's the saying, if you turn me into a hammer, I would see nails everywhere. So there's lots of stuff we still can do. Lots of opportunities out there still. Yeah. And then we have, to Joe's point earlier, we have all the shelf space. And we have all this credibility in all these stores, and they want more of our stuff because it sells. High quality, it's always in time, or mostly in time. And you know, it has all these attributes. It's good design and all this, and they want more of it. And so if you have a product in the Apple Store, for example, you will not have only one product in one Apple Store. You will have one product in maybe 360 Apple Stores. You know? So that multiplies itself. And so if they, like Apple would always ask us, hey, you know, there's some shelf space open, and it's all about you saying open shelf space. You walk around and see what else can we do within that shelf space. You go into the Apple Store, what else can you do? Because
We were in the Apple Store today, and your audio product definitely popped out.
Looks great.
Yeah, one is beautiful, simple packaging, and there was probably 7, 8 other competitors. The only other one was Dr. Dre, but that was like twice as much. Really heavy.
Yeah, for that price, it's a pretty good product.
By the way, we have a little raffle tonight. If you have business cards, we have.
I have tickets, I did tickets.
Oh, perfect.
So just
Tickets,
for,
tickets,
so,
Yeah.
great.
any last questions for John Marcus? Okay, very much. Thanks, guys.